All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about a connection between two countries you probably don't think about together ever. We're looking at Brazil and Bangladesh, and we're going to dive into how their totally unique differences are actually creating this incredible, promising new investment opportunity.
So what in the world connects these two? I mean, on the surface, they seem completely different, right? Worlds apart. But here's the twist. The connection isn't about what they have in common. It's actually all about what they don't have in common. A really powerful economic partnership is starting to take shape, and it's all based on this super simple but brilliant idea.
Okay, let's just look at the raw numbers here, because they really tell the story. You've got Brazil, the absolute heavyweight of Latin America, with a GDP well over $2 trillion. And then you have Bangladesh, huge population, and it's actually growing faster. Now, you might look at that difference in size and speed and think it's a mismatch, but nope, that's not a problem. It's the whole point.
And this chart, wow, it really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The difference in sheer economic size is massive. Brazil is a giant. But, and this is the key, Bangladesh is one of the most nimble, fastest-growing markets on the planet. And like we're about to see, that contrast, that's the secret sauce. It's what makes them perfect partners, not rivals.
Okay, so how does this actually work? What's the game plan? Well, the whole idea behind this connection isn't that these two countries are similar, not at all. It's that their economies fit together perfectly, almost like two puzzle pieces.
Just look at this. It's pretty amazing how their strengths just click. On one hand, you have Bangladesh with its super competitive workforce and incredible speed when it comes to exports, especially in manufacturing. On the other hand, you've got Brazil with its massive market, tons of natural resources, and a really sophisticated industrial base. You see? One has exactly what the other is looking for. They're not competing with each other, they're complementing each other.
And this quote from MD Joynal Abdin of the BBCI just nails it. They're not mirror images, they're complementary economies. This is the fundamental idea, the engine driving this whole thing. It's simple, but it's so powerful. Each one has the key to unlock the other's growth.
All right, let's take a trip across this economic bridge. First, we'll head east. Let's dig into why Brazilian investors are suddenly looking at Bangladesh and seeing some absolutely huge opportunities.
So for a Brazilian company, Bangladesh isn't just another market to sell stuff in. No, it's way more than that. It's a strategic launchpad. Think about it. You get access to a massive local market, you get a world-class competitive manufacturing base, and it's the perfect doorway to the rest of Asia. It's a triple threat.
The most obvious place to start? Manufacturing, for sure. I mean, we all know Bangladesh is a powerhouse, the #2 apparel exporter in the world. But the real game for savvy investors isn't just about t-shirts. It's about moving up the ladder, getting into things like advanced technical textiles, high-tech fibers, and a really strong leather and footwear sector. That's where the next wave of growth is.
But it's not just about manufacturing, not by a long shot. There are these other sectors that are just booming. Get this. The pharmaceutical industry in Bangladesh is so advanced it already covers almost all of its own needs. The medical device market is set to hit $3 billion pretty soon, and the packaged food market? Huge. These are perfect spots for Brazilian tech and know-how to come in and meet a really strong local demand. And holding all of this together is the infrastructure, right? The very backbone of the economy. So investing here means you're not just investing in one thing, you're helping to power the whole system. We're talking renewable energy, modernizing the supply chain, and tapping into a digital and IT sector that's growing like crazy. Okay, time to switch gears. Let's head the other way on this bridge, from east to west. Why on earth would an investor from Bangladesh look all the way across the world to Brazil? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's about leveling up. You see, for entrepreneurs in Bangladesh, this is their chance to go from just being traders, buying and selling stuff, to actually owning assets and getting deep into a huge regional market. Brazil brings three things to the table: massive scale, a really diverse economy, and, crucially, a strategic entry point into all of Latin America. So where's the smart money going? You look at what Brazil already does best, and that's agribusiness. I mean, they're a world leader. But investing here isn't just about, buying soybeans. It's about owning a piece of the entire food supply chain. And to do that, you have to invest in the infrastructure that makes it all possible. The warehouses, the transport, the ports, the whole shebang. And it's not just about the traditional stuff. Investors can get in on Brazil's future, too. It's already one of the top places in the world for clean energy investment. It's got a buzzing biotech and startup scene, with a solid venture capital network to back it up. Plus, there's a huge national push to digitize their entire industrial base.
But hang on, how do you actually make a partnership like this work when you're on opposite sides of the planet? Well, a lot of the time, the secret weapon is the joint venture. It's where you combine the best of both worlds, say Brazilian technology with that famous Bangladeshi operational speed. But of course, you need someone to connect the dots, to make those first introductions.
Look, having a great idea is one thing, but actually building the bridge, that's a whole different challenge. So who are the people on the ground making this connection happen?
Well, the main group driving this is the Brazil-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's just call it the BBCI. Their whole reason for existing is to take all this amazing potential we've been talking about and turn it into real deals, real partnerships that you can take to the bank.
Basically, the chamber does all the heavy lifting. They're the matchmakers setting people up, they're the advocates fighting for better policies, and they're the ones sharing the crucial information that helps build trust and lower the risk. Without them, none of these deals would get done.
So we've looked at all the different pieces of this puzzle. What's the big takeaway? What's the main thing to remember about this really unique partnership?
First off, you have to appreciate the sheer scale here. When you put these two economies together, you're looking at a combined GDP of almost $2.7 trillion. To put that in perspective, that's a bigger economic zone than the entire country of Canada. It's massive.
And that brings us back to the most important point. The whole reason this works so well is because they are not the same. It's built on that perfect match of strengths that complete each other. You've got Bangladesh's agility meeting Brazil's scale. You've got Bangladesh's competitiveness meeting Brazil's deep resources. It's a perfect fit.
And maybe the biggest takeaway of all, especially if you're an investor, is this. This economic bridge, it's still being built. This whole connection is still pretty new, which means it hasn't reached its full potential yet. And you know what that means, right? The greatest opportunities aren't history. They are happening right now as we speak.
So all of this leaves us with a really interesting final thought. For a long time, we've thought about the global economy as a big competition, right? A race between similar countries. But what if this Brazil-Bangladesh story is showing us a different future? A future that's all about partnerships between opposites. Maybe the most important question for a country or a business to ask isn't who's my biggest competitor anymore. Maybe it's who's my most valuable partner.